Hi, everyone. Welcome to Meet the School's Social Sciences edition. And thank you for your patience as we got our screen sharing up. I'm Maureen Buckley, Interim Dean of the School of Social Sciences. I'm joined here today by Karen Jaffe, Faculty Associate Dean, as well as 7 of our outstanding faculty members. We will be recording today's session with the plan to post it on our website. This will give you the opportunity to go back and review the information. The session should be up by the end of the week. We appreciate you joining us in this unusual format. We are all adapting, and we hope that we are successful in using this Zoom session to provide you with a sense of our school and its offerings. We also hope to provide you with information that will help you make the big decision of where you will attend college. Of course, we hope that that place will be Sonoma State University. The fact that we have gathered so many faculty here to talk with you today highlights one of the hallmarks of our school, a fact borne out in our recent strategic plan survey. Our students benefit from strong faculty-student connections that our school provides. Being a social science major at Sonoma State means that you will have the opportunity to engage meaningfully with our highly knowledgeable, caring, and committed faculty. Who are we as a school? Well, Sonoma State has 5 different schools, and the School of Social Sciences is the largest. Our majors are united by the study of human society and social relationships. We as a school are committed to engaging with our community, improving human welfare, and promoting social justice. Why would you choose a social science major? Well, a recent survey of employers found that 91% reported valuing critical thinking, communication, and problem-solving skills. 96 support the need for students to experience solving problems with people holding different viewpoints from their own. And 87% report giving hiring preference to graduates who complete a senior project. All of our majors focus on the installation of these skills. Moreover, while several of our majors are impacted, we want to remind you that these same employers valued the above skills over a particular major. We invite you to consider the range of majors described here today. You never know what you might discover. And now I'm going to turn the presentation over to our Faculty Associate Dean, Karen Jaffe.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to our virtual decision day. Can I have our slide advancer advance through a couple slides up to slide 5, please? Okay, great. Okay, so just a little overview of the School of Social Sciences. As Dean Buckley said, we are the largest school on campus. We house 9 departments that together offer 11 bachelor's degrees and 9 minors. Those departments are also offering 4 master's degrees for students who decide that they would like to either return for an advanced degree or stay on and continue their education. A little later on in the presentation, you will have a chance to learn more about each of these departments, in many cases from faculty that teach within those departments, so they can give you a better overview of their programs. Can I have the next slide, please? Okay, in addition to our academics and our majors and minors, the School of Social Sciences has a number of centers and institutes, including the Anthropological Studies Center, the Center for the Study of Holocaust and Genocide, the Center for Interdisciplinary Geospatial Analysis, the Center for Sustainable Communities, and the Northwest Information Center. We encourage you, if you're interested in learning more about these centers and institutes, to visit the link shown on the slide here to learn more about each of them. The great thing, you can go back, please. The great thing about these centers and institutes is that they provide additional opportunities outside of the classroom for undergraduate and graduate students to engage in focused research and training experiences. Okay, next slide. In addition to our centers and institutes, the School of Social Sciences hosts a number of lecture series every year. So the Nevis Evans Social Justice Lecture Series is part of our Spring Social Justice Week. We also have a lecture series, the Holocaust and Genocide Lecture Series, the Queer Studies Lecture Series, and the Feminist Lecture Series. Each of these provides students with a chance to hear from great minds in these topical areas. So for example, earlier this semester, you see the photo here, Angela Davis spoke at the university. So there's lots of great opportunities for students with these lecture series as well. Next slide, please. Okay, so this is an overview of our departments and programs, and we're just gonna go alphabetically through each of them, and we're gonna have faculty members from each of the departments tell you a little bit more about what they have to offer you. So we'll go ahead and start with anthropology, if we can go to the next slide.
And if I can just add, at the end of each presentation, the faculty member will stay for a few seconds, not a few seconds, for a bit, and answer your questions in the chat box. Okay, thanks.
Okay, so I am Alexis Boutan. I am the professor and chair of the anthropology department. And we are a medium-sized major in the School of Social Sciences. We have a great faculty to student ratio. So if you join our major, you will have access to many different faculty members in our department. And anthropology is a study of human, social, and cultural diversity, as well as biological diversity in the past and the present. And we study this diversity through different aspects, including human biology, our behavior as individuals and in groups, the languages we use to communicate with one another, and the objects that we use as material culture. So in our major, students study approaches from all four fields of anthropology: cultural anthropology, linguistic anthropology, biological anthropology, and archaeology. So again, looking at diversity in the past and present, so how our current cultural and biological diversity came to be. And this sort of really holistic four-field approach to anthropology gives our students a really useful cross-cultural competency, which is incredibly important in our increasingly globalized world and our increasingly diverse United States. So students can access this by pursuing a major in anthropology or a minor, and then staying on if they choose for a master's degree in a more specialized field of cultural resources management. So I've listed a few of the careers that some of our recent alumni are working at. So for example, some are working at medical examiners' offices, and you can prepare for a career like this by taking courses in forensic anthropology, human osteology, and interning at our local coroner's office. You can work at a zoo as one of the animal keepers, and you can prepare for that by taking courses in behavioral ecology, primate observation methods, and doing an internship in Dr. Jaffe's primate ethology lab. So we have students working, or former students, working in tribal historic preservation offices, working on language revitalization, for example, for local Native American tribes. One group of students we just had present at the CSU research competition representing the whole university on ways of recording the Coast Miwok language. Some of those students are also working for tribes as archaeologists. So you can get a training in archaeological method and theory and go on to become a professional archaeologist. And then we have students working for California state parks as well as regional parks countywide as interpreters, as rangers, and you can prepare for that by taking classes in environmental anthropology, for example, looking at sustainability through an anthropological lens. I also want to point out that some other areas of work would be going into teaching. We have students who teach everywhere from middle schools to university level. We have students working in social work and at nonprofit agencies, and we can connect you with that type of coursework in our department, mentorship and internships that can prepare you for these careers. And I also want to point out that we are affiliated with two of the centers that were discussed earlier in the presentation. The Anthropological Studies Center and the Northwest Information Center are connected to our department, and students can get hands-on training there in topics such as remote sensing, analysis of artifacts and bone, oral history, and spatial analysis and historic preservation that will serve them well either in employment at these places or at other locations in the future. So anthropology is a really integral part of the School of Social Sciences, and we hope you'll choose to join us. Please learn more about us at our website or by following us on social media. Thank you.
All right, now we're going to move on to criminal and criminal justice studies. If we can advance the slide to that. We were unable to have a representative from this department here today, so I'll just briefly go over the slide. The CCJS department is one of our impacted departments, which means that there's a very high demand. It offers a bachelor's of art and a minor. CCJS is concerned with the changing nature and content of the law, public expectations about crime and justice, the implications and how that intersects with race, gender, and class, and also political and social pressures and issues that impact the criminal justice system. Now we'll go on to geography, environment, and planning. Is Michelle here with us?
I forgot my mute. I'm sorry.
Hi, Michelle.
Hi, everyone. Yeah, so hi, everyone. My name's Michelle Goman. I'm professor and chair of the Department of Geography, Environment and Planning, which is a bit of a mouthful, so we just say GEP for short. And so if you're passionate about the environment, if you would rather be outside right now instead of in a Zoom meeting, then GEP might be for you. If you want to make a difference locally and globally in how we protect and conserve our natural world, then again, GEP might be a good choice for you. Our students are provided with a wide range of training and job skills for a variety of careers in the sustainability, ecological restoration and conservation fields, land use and urban planning fields, and also within the environmental and education fields, just to name a few. And we know that the environmental sector, the job sector, is expected to rise significantly over the next 10 years. And so our program provides the core basis for entering into a wide variety of environmental jobs. Now, as you can see on the screen here, there are listed a number of what we call concentration options within the GEP program. Excuse me. All students start off, however, by getting exposed to a core breadth of different classes that provide them with the basis to go on and choose a specialty within one of these concentrations, whether it be, for instance, geospatial analysis and technology, which you can see in the lower screen image there, which is a highly sought after skill. Many of our students, in fact, all environmental related jobs require some form of geospatial analysis. Our students also get exposed to a variety of other skill sets in the classroom, but also we highly value getting our students outside and exploring and observing the natural world. And so we take advantage of the wide variety of opportunities in our local environment. So for instance, you can see an image here in the top left-hand corner where our students go up to this Fairfield Osborne Preserve, which is a preserve that's managed by Sonoma State. And students take part in hands-on activities such as surveying the creek systems, learning about restoration and conservation management issues up at the preserves. Our students are also highly involved in the planning arena, and so many of our students go on to get a degree in planning for sustainable communities. Those students have the opportunity to intern with local cities in the planning area. And indeed, all our students have the opportunity to take internships throughout the local community with local nonprofits, whether it be with, for instance, conservation fields with the Laguna de Santa Rosa, for instance, or working with Point Blue in animal conservation, or in planning and also local government options with the environmental arena. Now, all our students will culminate their career at Sonoma State by taking a capstone project. This is a year-long project, which allows students to really focus in, develop a research project and collect hands-on data, and then analyze that data and produce a thesis at the end. And again, this is a critical information that employers want to know, that students have the ability to write, analyze, and process data. So this is, again, an important skill set. So I encourage you to take a look at the GEP website at Sonoma State. And also, I welcome any emails. You can reach out to me or any of the other faculty within the department. I look forward to hearing from you.
Yeah, I think we can move on to the next slide, please.
Hi, everybody. I'm Steve Estes, and I'm the chair of the history department. The most important thing you learn in history is how to make a really amazing PowerPoint slide like this one. No, I'm just kidding. The history is amazing because basically all of our classes are time machines. So Sam Cohen, my colleague who teaches Roman history, will take you to the Roman Forum, and you'll rub shoulders with centurions and gladiators and citizens. And my colleague Kathleen Noonan will take you to 19th century Ireland and wrestle with the potato famine. And so, I mean, the great thing about history as a major is that it both stokes your passion, and it's a very practical major. So we don't have concentrations in the major. We really do want you to follow your passion and figure out what you like about history. But it's also practical in that whatever you focus on in history, you have a range of options after you graduate. So as you see on the slide, we have a Bachelor of Arts in History, and we have a minor in history. We have a master's in history for folks who want to teach. And then we have some certificate programs for people who want to do museum studies or want to do research in other languages. But the coolest thing, and I should just talk about some of our amazing alums. You know, we have alums who work at Google and Facebook. We have alums who go on to law schools like Duke University Law, Cornell University Law is where one of our graduates is going this year. And they come back and they make a difference in their communities. The thing that people assume everyone's going to do when they study history is they assume that they'll all become teachers. And we do train people to become amazing history teachers in middle school and high school, at the junior college level. And I'm very proud of those teachers. In fact, one of my students now is a professor at the University of Colorado, and she's great. But I don't want you to think that that's all history people do. We really do, our alums do the range of activities across the economy, across different disciplines and different industries. And basically what we try and do is set them up for success. That's it. That's pretty much it. Thank you very much. If you have any questions about history, you can email me, put it in the chat, and I see already a question. I'll answer it in just a second, Tyler. Thanks for asking. And I'll talk to you guys later.
Thanks, Steve. I think now we'll move on to Ben and pre-human development and human development.
Great. Hi, everyone. My name is Ben Smith. I'm on the faculty in the Human Development program. Human development is a little interesting in that we have kind of two courses of study that are officially within the broader program. The first here that I'm going to talk briefly about is pre-human development. Human development is an impacted major, which means that it's a really popular one. We have more students than seats available for them. So one of the things we decided to do to help students who are trying to get into the major was to start a pre-human development program. So as you come to Sonoma State here as a first-year student, as a transfer, you can enter in as a pre-human development student, right? There's no need to apply or to meet some GPA threshold. It's open to everyone. And what this does is it allows you access to us, right? To human development faculty, to advising. It gives you some advising tools, and that's the kind of online advising mechanism that Sonoma State has. It basically helps you to become a human development major, right? So let's now go to the next slide, and I'll introduce you to the human development major itself. Great. So the human development major, let's take a look over on kind of the left side, the interdisciplinary Bachelor of Arts piece of this. So what is human development? Well, we study the life course, right? So from birth to death, young to old age, we're unique in that we cover the entire life course, right? So there are other departments or other programs at SSU and elsewhere where you can focus on childhood or gerontology, old age. We have our students focus on development or the life course from infancy to old age, right? We have you take up multiple different perspectives on the life course, right? So we have you think about the life course from a biological perspective, right? From psychological perspectives, gender studies, anthropological perspectives, right? Ours is indeed an interdisciplinary Bachelor of Arts, which means that you get to take up multiple disciplinary perspectives on the life course, on development, right? We have a set of core courses that are taught by human development faculty. Outside of that, you're taking classes in the education department, the ed school, and from other departments, right? So if you like interdisciplinary stuff, HD, right? The reason why we're interdisciplinary is this third bullet point here is that we put a lot of emphasis on context. Context matters, right? We don't just look at development, the individual, but rather families, the complexity of families, social environments, cultural environments, right? That's just as much the study of the life course as anything else. Our students go on to do some really super cool things. They're our best resources. We have a couple of students now in the master's program in counseling at Sonoma State. A lot of folks go into counseling. A lot of folks go into educational settings, life course specific careers like teen centers, senior centers, nonprofit and advocacy work, and graduate studies. The way that I like to talk about it in my applied human development class is that HD majors, we like to help people, right? That's kind of the service kind of impulse, the helping professions, right, is our impulse, and that's where most of our students end up in one way or another. We also have lots of cool student opportunities. So you can conduct research and present it in a professional setting. We have a regular kind of spring mini conference that's open to the entire university. Some students have presented some really cool stuff lately about experiences of the Great Recession, right? So what was it like to be a young person in college graduating into the Great Recession? How did that mold the life course at that particular historical moment, right? We've also had students do projects on wildfire recovery, right? Issues of charity in the context of the Sonoma County fires of 2017. Again, I mentioned this earlier, but our yearly Human Development Mini Conference, we invite scholars from across the nation. And so you get to engage with that cutting edge scholarship. And we also have a pretty robust internship program. So the way that we run our internship program is that we have a handful of partners and we work really closely with them. We know them, right? We know the folks who work there and can facilitate the kind of close relationships, the mentoring relationships that students need in these sites. Right? So come be an HD major, right? Hope to see hope to see you on campus. And if you'd like to, if you have more questions, of course, in the chat, I'll be here and can respond to you. Otherwise, email, take a look at our website. We have a Facebook site as well. Hope to see you in one way or another, right? Thank you.
Thank you, Ben. Next up, Dr. Jaffe's going to tell us about political science.
Hi again, everyone. So we don't have anyone today from political science, but certainly this is a field that in the current climate is probably on everyone's radar since we're in an election year. Our political science department offers a Bachelor of Arts and a minor in political science. And then at the master's level, they offer a master's in public administration. Students in the political science major develop an understanding of human behavior as it relates to politics. They learn to discuss and analyze critically the many current public policy issues facing the United States and the world. As a political science major, you learn how to analyze and understand world affairs and comparative politics, and you're trained in appropriate research techniques and methods for the study of political processes. If I can have the next slide, please. There are, like the other majors have talked about, there's lots of opportunities for political science majors. So ranging from getting experience at the state and national level. So you can see there, there's a program called Cal State in DC. There's the link on the right-hand side. Sacramento semester with the link. Model UN, which is a great program offered through the political science department. And I believe this last year won some awards for their presentations at Model UN. The political science program or political science major has a lot of students that participate in CSU study abroad programs. So the political science department wants you to kind of think about the opportunities imagine the opportunity to see policy and politics up close and personal across multiple levels of government, whether that's locally within California, nationally in the United States, or at some global level. Okay, and I think we're ready for the next department, psychology.
Hi everyone, I'm Teresa Nguyen. I'm a faculty member in the psychology department. I'm happy to be here today to tell you a little bit about our major. Our students come to our major because they're interested in questions like, why do we experience emotions, even negative ones like anxiety? Are emotions universal? What about personalities? Where do personalities come from? And can we describe personalities in very distinct ways? Sometimes our students are interested in learning about development. So how do infants become fully formed adults physically, emotionally, socially? I personally teach psychopathology and intro to counseling. So a lot of the students that I work with are interested in emotional distress and learning about the treatments that might help alleviate some of the pain and suffering that individuals can go through. Some of our graduates go on to pursue graduate training in counseling. So I teach intro to counseling, which is a nice segue for that. But our graduates also explore a whole host of other kinds of careers. So some pursue human resources, some pursue like public relations, PR kind of work. Others go into education. If you come to our department, I'd be really excited to be able to share with you some of the different opportunities. So a couple that I highlight here, you can conduct research with faculty members. So I conduct research on intimate relationships. Other faculty members conduct research on issues like identity and social justice and plenty more. And so this is a really neat opportunity to work closely with faculty members to be part of the cutting edge research as we tackle these subjects like emotion and psychopathology and intimate relationships. The other unique aspect of our department at Sonoma State is that we have connections to a lot of community agencies so that students can get hands-on experience in this world of psychology. A lot of our students find it really helpful to apply what they've learned in the classroom with an internship, and that they've found it helpful for their career as well as personal development. I will be available in the chat if you have any questions about any of the courses I teach personally or the department more broadly. I'll be able to answer that, and I'll give out my email as well if you have any other questions. I hope to hear from you soon. Take care.
Thank you, Teresa. Now we're going to go on to Melinda for sociology.
Hi, thank you so much. My name is Melinda Milligan. I'm a faculty member in the sociology department, and I'm really excited to tell you about sociology because as a discipline, it's unique because it's really a perspective or a worldview that can be applied to any topic that might benefit from using what we call the sociological imagination to understand it. So sociology as a discipline is the study of the intersection of the individual and society. And so we spend time looking at not only how society or social structures might shape and guide individual choices and decisions, we also look at how individuals through their actions shape and mold and recreate society. And the ability to use that perspective, we, as I mentioned, call the sociological imagination. There's a famous quote from a sociologist named Peter Berger that I usually use in my sociology classes to describe to students why sociology is so powerful as a perspective. And Berger describes how, yes, sociology allows us to see how individuals are puppets on a stage being moved by the strings of society, which sounds kind of depressing. But what sociology does is allow you to realize that, and then also to look up and see the strings by which we're being moved. And Berger argues that that ability, that perspective to see those strings, to understand how society is shaping and molding us, is the first step toward taking action to change and direct how we ourselves would want our social structures to work. And so many people come to sociology because they're interested in using that knowledge of the intersection of the individual and the social world to figure out how to change the world and to make a difference using their knowledge of those structures and social processes. And so many students are interested in taking an activist orientation or an applied orientation with their sociological lens. However, one of the things that we as a department really focus on in the discipline of sociology is training students on research methods and research skills, because we want students to be able to use data-driven knowledge to understand the social problems that they're addressing. So our major is divided between core courses and then electives. And the core courses focus on things like research methods, theory, a senior capstone course, and then the electives illustrate the wide range of topics that those ideas can be applied to. And so we have faculty in the department who teach in areas like education, social work, medical sociology, organizations, sex, race, gender, stratification, and lots of really interesting narrower topics that reflect the faculty's particular areas of expertise. So, for example, one of the things that I like to teach on is the built environment, or our relationships to physical spaces and how those are structured by society. But we have people who focus on almost any topic that you could think of using that sociological perspective, but through the emphasis on teaching students how to use the perspective and the research methods to create knowledge. And why that's important is because, as with all social sciences, in sociology, you're building a set of skills that you can take with you out into the world that are very attractive to employers. And so we focus on helping students learn those skills and then on how to articulate those skills to employers. The sociology major includes one requirement that we call the sociological experience requirement. And students meet that by finding a way to apply the sociological skills they're learning to real world problems or situations. So every student in the major will, through meeting that requirement, do either an internship, do a course that has a service learning component where they're out in the community working with groups on real world problems, or they might take a course in it's a careers in sociology course where we really get into how to think about careers and employment sociologically, but then how do we also build and prepare you to go on that journey yourself when you graduate. And of course, students actually have the option to not only do one of those three, but all three of those things if they might want to. So we encourage students to work with the faculty in the department to explore their areas of interest, to figure out what career paths they might want to pursue using the sociological perspective. And many of our students do go into social services fields. They're very interested in social work, in counseling, but also in law, in political arenas, in business arenas, almost anything you could think of. I have students who are working in sports management, students who have gone on to successful business careers or careers in government and applied fields. And of course, we also have students who decide to pursue graduate work, whether it's a master's program or a PhD, and those students regularly contact our faculty and say, thank you for the preparation. I was so well prepared because of my training in methods and theory in the sociology department at Sonoma State. So if anyone has any questions about the major or about careers linked to the major, please feel free to reach out to me or to any other faculty in the sociology department. And our contact information is on the website, and we also have a Facebook page, so feel free to connect with us, and we'd love to share the major with you. Thank you.
Next up, we have Lena and Women and Gender Studies.
Hi students, welcome. So glad to have you all here in the chat this morning. These are really challenging times. So what I want to do is just introduce myself and talk a little bit about women and gender studies and how women and gender studies can help us think about these challenging times. So I am the chair of the Women and Gender Studies department here at Sonoma State. We oftentimes abbreviate our major as WGS. We have a major in women and gender studies. We also offer a minor in women and gender studies, and we offer a queer studies minor. We also offer a whole bunch of GE classes. So even if you don't necessarily want a major or minor in WGS, we offer GE in many different categories. So it's a class that you can pick up on your path towards successful graduation. So Women and Gender Studies places the study of gender, of race, of sexuality, of socioeconomic class at the center of our analysis. We can pick any topic in our society, and what we talk about in Women and Gender Studies is how is this issue shaped by gender? How is this issue shaped by race and understandings about racial identity or issues of racism in our contemporary society? So we could take a topic even like COVID-19, right, that so many of us are navigating right now, and we in Women and Gender Studies would say, how is COVID-19 about gender? Right? Why is it that so many of the frontline low-paid workers are women? And why are we talking about that as a nation, maybe for some of the first times? So that's something that
Oh, looks like Lena got frozen.
Oh,
Oh, Lena? You want to take over, Maureen? You want me to?
sure, go ahead.
Okay. Lena, if your computer comes back on, you can interrupt me. For Women and Gender Studies, again, as the chair of the department was talking about, that there's a lot of intersections between gender, race, class. Oops, did we just lose our screen?
She's back.
Oh,
Hey, folks.
oh, you're back. Okay, great.
Hey folks, so the gendered reality of my life is I have a 3-year-old and a 6-year-old, so I was trying to hide out so we might hear the kids and the dog and my wife, the whole bit here. So, but this is sort of what we do in Women and Gender Studies, right? It's like, how is the gendered reality of our lives impacting us? How can we analyze that? How can we talk about it? How can we think more deeply about these topics? So in Women and Gender Studies, we have intro-level courses all the way up through a senior level seminar class where you get to pursue your own research project in the field of women and gender studies. So we can meet you at any place you are in your process in Women and Gender Studies. All of our majors are required to do internships. So all of our majors get experience in direct placement, where you're looking at questions of gender or race or sexuality or social justice. That's my 3-year-old. So in addition to our internships that everybody does, we have majors that have gone into careers in all different fields. So we have folks that have gone into teaching or gone into counseling. We have folks that have gone into law. A lot of our students go into nonprofit work or work around social justice. Folks also have worked as diversity officers in all different tech sectors and healthcare. So there's a whole range of areas where our students go on to be majors. So I am really available for folks. You can message me in the chat. I'd be happy to email anybody. It's mcquaid@sonoma.edu. Yeah, I'd be happy to talk to anybody about women and gender studies. It's easy to pick up a major or double major or pick up a minor. All right, folks, take care.
Thank you to all our faculty for those great overviews. Before we sign off, I wanted to just say some concluding remarks. It seems like a lot of our questions in the chat are about this desire to pick a certain major for a certain career. So we encourage you to think back to the beginning of the presentation and think about the skills that you need to do the things you want to do. It's seldom a direct one-to-one fit in terms of you have to major in one thing to do another thing. So, you know, Steve talked about history, and I know there's a lot of CEOs in business that were history majors. I know there was a lot of questions about psychology and mental health. I'm a psychologist who works with kids. I majored in psychology and anthropology, but we also have great students in the counseling program that that majored in human development or women and gender studies or sociology. When I toured last year, the Boston Police Department, because we have a lot of people interested in criminology, not to sell someone on another school, but they said that they really needed art history people and computer scientists, because a lot of crime in Boston relates to art theft and computer fraud. So think broadly. You're hopefully going to have a very long career and change multiple times. So like I said, I started out with psychology and anthropology. From there, after college, I went into marketing for a while, and then I went into working in public schools, and then I went to graduate school, and then I became a community mental health therapist for a while. Then I became a faculty member. Now I'm an administrator, and all of those boil down to the skill set that I got from my education that gave me a lot of flexibility to be a lot of different things over time. I'm sure after we conclude, there's going to be other questions that come up. All of us have contact information on our department websites. So I encourage you to explore the websites, reach out to faculty with your questions and thoughts, and we would love to chat with you. Anybody else in our faculty have anything else to add? All right, well then thank you everybody for coming today. We really enjoyed chatting with you.